Welcome to Farming Aid.
The legacy of the Aurochs still shapes every cow walking the planet today. For thousands of years, cattle breeding has focused on increasing milk, meat, and efficiency. But that intense selection has also created serious genetic challenges in modern herds. Fertility problems, weaker immune systems, heat stress, and reduced genetic diversity are now becoming major concerns for ranchers and livestock scientists around the world. As climate change intensifies and farming conditions become more unpredictable, many traditional high-production breeds are struggling to keep up. In this video, we explore three remarkable super cattle breeds that are quietly transforming modern livestock systems. From tropical pastures to mountain dairy farms, these cattle are proving that the key to solving modern genetic problems might already exist within the world's most resilient breeds. Let's go beyond the Aurochs and discover the three super cattle changing the future of beef and dairy production. One of the biggest problems facing the global cattle industry is genetic narrowing. Over the past century, industrial agriculture focused heavily on a few dominant breeds such as the Holstein Friesian cattle for dairy production and the Angus cattle for beef. These breeds became global powerhouses because of their productivity and uniformity, but heavy inbreeding within closed registries gradually reduced their genetic variation. As a result, many high-performing cattle lines now struggle with fertility problems, metabolic disorders, and vulnerability to diseases. Farmers have noticed that animals bred purely for maximum production sometimes lose the hardiness that earlier cattle possessed. Heat stress, parasite pressure, and climate variability further expose these weaknesses. That is why researchers and ranchers have started searching for cattle that can restore lost traits without sacrificing performance. The Senepol cattle offer one of the most intriguing solutions. This breed originated on the Caribbean island of St. Croix during the early 20th century. Local farmers needed cattle that could thrive in intense tropical heat while still producing high-quality beef. To achieve this, breeders crossed the European red pole cattle with the heat-tolerant Ndama cattle from West Africa. The result was an animal that combined the productivity of European cattle with the extraordinary environmental resilience of African genetics. Over time, the new breed stabilized into what we now know as Senepol cattle. What makes Senepol remarkable is its natural adaptation to harsh climates. Unlike many European breeds that struggle in tropical regions, Senepol cattle possess a short, sleek coat that reflects sunlight and allows efficient heat dissipation. They also have loose skin and specialized sweat glands that help regulate body temperature. This means they can graze comfortably in temperatures that would stress other breeds. Heat tolerance is becoming increasingly valuable as global temperatures rise and livestock operations expand into hotter environments. Another advantage of Senepol cattle is their resistance to parasites and diseases common in tropical regions. Many cattle imported from cooler climates require extensive medical treatments to survive in hot areas. Senepol animals, however, inherited natural parasite resistance from their African ancestors. This trait reduces the need for chemical treatments and lowers production costs for farmers. In addition, healthier animals mean fewer losses and improved animal welfare. Despite their rugged nature, Senepol cattle also deliver impressive beef quality. They produce tender meat with good marbling while maintaining efficient feed conversion. Ranchers often use Senepol genetics in crossbreeding programs to introduce heat tolerance and fertility into commercial herds. The breed has gained popularity in the United States, Brazil, Australia, and parts of Africa, where it serves as a genetic bridge between productivity and resilience. In many ways, Senepol cattle represent a modern answer to the genetic challenges created by decades of specialized breeding. While Senepol cattle show how hybrid breeding can create powerful new genetics, another breed demonstrates the value of ancient adaptation, the Boran cattle. Originating in East Africa, Boran cattle evolved over centuries in some of the harshest pastoral environments on Earth. Nomadic herders relied on them for survival, selecting animals that could endure drought, disease, and long migrations in search of grazing. This intense natural selection produced cattle with extraordinary endurance and adaptability. Boran cattle are particularly known for their ability to survive in arid and semi-arid climates. Their bodies are designed for efficiency. They can travel long distances without losing condition, conserve water effectively, and utilize poor-quality forage that would not sustain many other breeds. These characteristics make them invaluable in regions where climate change is increasing the frequency of droughts and unpredictable weather patterns. Another important feature of Boran cattle is their strong immune system. African pastoral environments expose livestock to a wide range of parasites and diseases. Over generations, Boran cattle developed genetic defenses that allow them to resist many of these threats naturally. This resilience is attracting interest from livestock scientists who are looking for ways to strengthen the health of modern cattle populations. Beyond survival traits, Boran cattle also perform well as beef animals. They produce lean but flavorful meat and show strong maternal qualities. Cows are known for their fertility, longevity, and ability to raise calves successfully even under challenging conditions. These maternal traits are especially valuable in breeding programs because they improve herd productivity over time. In recent decades, Boran cattle have become an important component in cross-breeding systems around the world. Ranchers in Australia and the Americas have experimented with Boran genetics to improve heat tolerance, disease resistance, and reproductive performance in their herds. The breed's influence demonstrates how traditional livestock from pastoral cultures can help solve modern agricultural challenges. While Senepol and Boran cattle excel in resilience and adaptability, the third, super cattle breed addresses a different but equally important issue: balancing productivity with long-term genetic health. The Montbeliarde cattle, originally developed in eastern France, are widely respected for their exceptional dairy performance combined with strong physical robustness. Montbeliarde cattle have a long history connected to mountain farming communities where animals needed to be both productive and hardy. Unlike some highly specialized dairy breeds that focus solely on milk volume, Montbeliarde cattle were bred for a combination of milk quality, fertility, structural strength, and longevity. This balanced breeding philosophy created animals capable of maintaining high production without suffering the severe health issues sometimes seen in other dairy breeds. One of the defining traits of Montbeliarde cattle is the quality of their milk. Their milk contains high levels of protein and casein, making it ideal for cheese production. In fact, the breed is closely associated with famous French cheeses such as Comté cheese. Farmers value the breed not only for milk quantity but also for the superior processing characteristics of its milk. Another key advantage is reproductive health. Many high-production dairy cows struggle with fertility problems after several lactations. Montbeliarde cattle, however, tend to maintain strong reproductive performance and remain productive for more years. This longevity reduces replacement costs for farmers and improves the overall sustainability of dairy operations. Montbeliarde cattle are also widely used in crossbreeding programs aimed at improving dairy herd health. For example, some farmers cross them with Holstein Friesian cattle to create cows that maintain high milk production while gaining better fertility, stronger hooves, and improved resistance to metabolic diseases. These crossbreeding strategies highlight how genetic diversity can strengthen modern livestock systems. The growing interest in these three breeds reflects a broader shift in agricultural thinking. For decades, livestock breeding focused primarily on maximizing output. Milk yield, growth rate, and carcass size dominated breeding goals. While this approach dramatically increased productivity, it often overlooked the importance of genetic diversity and environmental adaptation. Now, with climate change, rising disease pressures, and growing concerns about sustainability, farmers and scientists are rediscovering the value of resilient genetics. The concept of super cattle does not mean creating genetically engineered animals or futuristic hybrids. Instead, it involves recognizing the extraordinary traits that already exist within traditional and carefully developed breeds. By studying and integrating these genetics, livestock producers can build herds that are healthier, more adaptable, and more sustainable. Modern genetic research is also helping scientists understand why certain breeds perform so well under difficult conditions. Advances in DNA sequencing allow researchers to identify specific genes responsible for heat tolerance, immune response, feed efficiency, and fertility. This knowledge helps breeders design crossbreeding strategies that preserve valuable traits while maintaining productivity. For example, scientists studying Senepol cattle discovered genes associated with heat tolerance that allow the animals to regulate body temperature more efficiently. These genetic markers can now be used to guide breeding decisions, ensuring that future cattle populations retain this important adaptation. Similar research on Boran cattle is revealing genetic pathways linked to disease resistance and drought tolerance. At the same time, dairy researchers studying Montbeliarde cattle have identified genes related to milk protein quality and reproductive health. Understanding these genetic mechanisms helps breeders improve dairy herds without repeating the mistakes of extreme specialization. Another important factor driving interest in these breeds is the growing demand for sustainable agriculture. Consumers increasingly want food produced in ways that respect animal welfare, environmental health, and long-term ecological balance. Cattle that require fewer medical treatments, adapt naturally to local climates, and remain productive for longer lifespans contribute to these sustainability goals. In tropical regions, for instance, cattle with natural heat tolerance reduce the need for expensive cooling infrastructure. Animals with parasite resistance lower the reliance on chemical treatments that can harm ecosystems. Fertile cows with long productive lives reduce the environmental cost of raising replacement animals. All of these benefits come from strong genetics rather than artificial interventions. The future of cattle breeding will likely involve combining the strengths of many different breeds rather than relying on a single dominant type. Senepol cattle may provide heat tolerance and meat quality, Boran cattle may contribute resilience and disease resistance, and Montbeliarde cattle may offer balanced productivity and reproductive health. In many ways, the spirit of the ancient Aurochs still lives on through these powerful genetics. The strength, endurance, and adaptability that once defined wild cattle are being rediscovered and reintroduced into modern breeding programs. By combining those ancient survival traits with modern science, the next generation of cattle could be healthier, more productive, and far more resilient than ever before. If you enjoyed learning about these incredible super cattle and the future of livestock genetics, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which of these breeds do you think will have the biggest impact on the future of cattle farming?